Hey there guys, Rick Ginn here with Flip with Rick, and in today's strategy I'm going to show you how I bought this exact piece of vacant land and made a $7,000 profit. And what I'll do is I'm going to break down the mechanics of from start to finish, how we took down the deal to the type of marketing, the type of contract, and how we found the buyer and we actually received our $7,000 payment. And then what I'm gonna do is walk you through on how you can implement this exact same strategy I use in my business today so you can profit during these absolutely crazy times in real estate during this coronavirus craze. And I'm also gonna tell you why this is such a unique strategy that's really simple, and if it works for me, there's no reason it can't work for you. We're starting out with the basics. You have to start out with a list of people that you're going to attack. So anytime we start with a list, it's called a prospect, meaning we're prospecting. We're trying to find people that will possibly sell us their property or their land. So I simply went to a list source and pulled up. And by the way, you can go on the list source, you can get a free account and you can play around. Now, I had 3 zip codes in mind that I'm very familiar with, and I know what buyers will pay in that area. And we came up with just over 3,000 prospects. So we have 3,000 prospects. Now you have to decide, how am I going to connect with these prospects? Now, I like to do direct mail and it's easy, but during these crazy times during the coronavirus, people really are not picking up their mail, but they're throwing their mail in a box, and junk mail is getting discarded immediately. So the easiest way to connect, think about it, everybody's at home. So what we want to do is pick up the phone and call them. So what I did is we simply skip traced the leads, we sorted them out. I think we narrowed it down to about 2,300. Now you can use some automated services to do your skip tracing, but if you're on a budget, what I recommend is I'll put some links below in this on some free searches you can use. It's just going to cost you a little bit of sweat equity, but you can get the phone numbers doing that way and get your list put together. Once we do that, we just pick up the phone and we call. The script is simple. You just listen to what I say. Ask really 2 simple questions. Number 1, are you the owner of 123 USA Street? And typically they're going to answer yes. The purpose of this question is build rapport and not have them hang up on you. Okay? Once you do that slot, you're simply going to ask questions. Great. Are you interested in selling that piece of property? And then from there, then the last question I do, if they go, yeah, I'd be interested in it, do you have an idea what you need to get for it? And instead of asking them, how much do you want for it? I like to use the psychology of how much do you need to get for it? It implies that I need to get like the bottom line number to get a deal done with you. So of this list, we were able to narrow it down to, I believe we wind up sending 7 contracts out, and of the 7 contracts, 3 were in final negotiations and 1 we already got back. How do I do that? You can use services like DocuSign, The Loop, which is another one which realtors tend to use, but the key is I never had to leave my house to go out and do the deal. So I sent in an email, they sign it. So I knew the property to sell for $35,000. We got it under contract for $28,000. That's it. Once it's signed, I have the deal, the negotiations are done. I send it off to my local title company. Here's the beauty of land, guys. It's all cash. It's really, really simple, and they're usually pretty low price points. And a lot of people out there are really hurting for cash, and the easiest thing to sell is a piece of land because you don't have a tenant or anything else in it, and that's why I really enjoy this strategy. So let's move on. Rick, how did you find the buyer? The buyer was really, really simple. You can actually go, here's what we do, is we work with our local realtors and we pull up an MLS sheet and we find all the vacant land buyers within those zip codes. So it was actually a pretty long list, so it was really, really simple. And you just pick up the phone and call and try to find their buying criteria, and the bottom line is they'll tell you exactly what they're paying for. They were all paying between $33,000 and $35,000. I picked the one at the $35,000. He says, as long as the lot's, X, Y, and Z, then I'll do that. We send them the address and tell them, what we're doing. We're investors. We have the property locked up. He says, I'm fine working with it. So great, we have him work with the title company. He does a little bit of his due diligence, and we basically give him I think we give him a 3-week window to close. So once we do that, we have a contract and we're just simply going to assign it. We have no closing costs, we have no upfront cost, and we're able to harvest the entire $7,000. And at closing, we receive a $7,000 assignment fee made out to our company. And the idea is you can constantly repeat this process. So let's do this. I want to walk you through how you can do this exact strategy. Go, hey, Rick, you do it. You got a team, you work with Zach. I do, but let me tell you what. We just thought of this strategy, 4 weeks ago when things were going south, and we are now full steam ahead in this strategy. So here's what I want you to do. We got to start out with prospects. So whatever market you work in, figure out, I like to work in zip codes because they're very precise and all your buyers know which zip codes they want to work on. So pull your prospect list. One of the ways you can do it is you can do the list source. Now you can do this for free and see how many prospects you come up with. If it's a nice big number, you'll have to dial back some of the criteria and narrow it down. The other list I love to do for vacant land is code violations. These are lands that are not being kept up or they haven't paid their taxes. The third list that I would do in that order would be on tax delinquencies. People haven't paid the taxes on it. And if they do that, of those 3 lists, you can put your criteria together really quick and easy. Now, for those of you who go, hey Rick, if you're going to be cold calling, how do I skip trace it? I don't have the services. With the internet, you have services to do anything. So you can get skip tracing as low as 6 or 7 cents per hit. It's usually just Google and research it. If those of you that are on a budget, here's what I do. I'm going to add a link below here and give you free skip tracing services. It's just going to cost you a little bit of time. You can rip through it and get it done probably in a day or two if you had a list of like 500. And once you get the phone numbers, I want you to simply go out and cold call them. How are you going to cold call them? You're going to do exactly as I teach it. You're going to ask a rapport building question that's going to have a yes answer. So, hey, are you the owner of 123 USA Main Street? Yes, I am. Are you interested in selling the property? Why, yes, I am. And then the third and final question that you would ask them before you close, and you can build rapport, and all between that, how's your day going? This coronavirus is nuts. Hey, John, what do you need to get for this property? And simply let them answer the question. You collect that data. Now, here's the key is you can get through your phone calls and build. You take your prospects and then you turn them into leads. Then you have your leads and maybe you cut it down to 20 or 30. Those are the people you're going to call back and you're going to ask more advanced questions and you're going to really dial it in. And this is what we call the negotiation strategy part. The longer you spend time with these people and ask high quality questions and you respect their time, and the beauty of it is if they have a financial problem and they want to unload that lot, like they're all getting killed in the stock market, why not sell this piece of land? It's producing no income and it looks like the real estate times could be uncertain. It's a perfect striking opportunity. That's why I love it. You can go from there, simply find it. You're gonna have to find an online service to get the document signed. I'm really going to tell you, you can get them for $10 or $15. I think it's like a monthly service. With the amount of gas and time you're gonna save, no one else is gonna do a deal unless you do it this way. So the old days of when I used to stick them in the mail and mail them out in an overnight package really is not going to work during this coronavirus era. So just get an online signing service that you can do, or worst case scenario, today's phones have the ability to scan the documents in. They can sign it and scan it back to you if you decide not to use like a DocuSign. Now we're into the buyer phase. So, hey Rick, how do I get access to MLS? This is the idea of you having a relationship with your local realtors. They're all bored out of their mind. They don't know what to do right now. Have them pull the list for you and have them maybe work with you. If you had to give them a small commission on the deal, maybe a 1% is well worth your time, and have them, but if you're going to pay them a commission, have them go through and qualify the buyers. What zip code you're buying in, what's the price range, and what's your criteria, and does your buyer have cash and ready to close? You have your contract. You have the ability to go out and find the buyer. The other way you can do it is you can actually pull buyers off of a list source, basically all the cash transactions for vacant land. And what I would do is probably pull them for the last 6 months. If you don't have enough data, you can go back to the previous year if you want to do that. Once you do that, you have your contract then once your realtor qualifies that person, or if it's you working directly with the buyer, you got to make sure they're comfortable working with a real estate investor, and just let them know you're going to be doing an assignment of contract. You'll be taking over the terms, and you get an assignment fee at closing. Most of them will say, as long as I get it for $34,000 or $35,000, I'm fine with it, Rick. And that's what you want them to say. So, guys, it's a really, really simple strategy. We're so used to trying to flip houses and like trying to do all this hard work. And you guys are trying to figure out how to do all these virtual appointments and delay them. Well, guess what? Land. I don't have to look at it. I don't have to deal with tenants. I don't have to deal with someone moving out. And it's the perfect scenario for doing virtual investing. All markets have vacant land. If you know your market and you know what the buying criteria is, go out and find these for the sellers. And this is how you become a complete real estate investor. You solve problems. And this is what you want to do. So why is this the perfect strategy for you? Because A, you're stuck at home and it sucks. Like I'm in the same boat. So instead of trying to beat yourself up on houses, and even if you get a contract, you got to wait for most of this to work out. And now, ready for this? They have coronavirus addendums, and title companies want everyone to use them. Sellers are freaked out, but owners of vacant land, they're probably more freaked out what's going on with the overall economy. And the fact is, they all think real estate's going to take a major hit. Now, if you have buyers ready to go and you know the strike price, you just got to negotiate the right deal with the seller. So land is perfect. You don't have to go there. You can have the contracts virtually signed. There's no tenants. There's no moving trucks. There's absolutely nothing, and they're all cash. And guess what? There is no coronavirus addendums. You don't need to make that part of your land deal. You just need to find vacant land. You need to find vacant land buyers. And by the way, there's plenty of developers out there looking for deals like this. And they're all looking to build up their inventory during this time because they're going to get money so cheap, it's going to be crazy. So, guys, let me review. Very, very simple strategy. Get a prospect list of vacant land in your markets. Narrow down the zip codes. You pull a list, you're going to get the phone numbers, either pay for a skip trace service or do it with sweat equity with the link we put below here. You're then going to cold call them. Just pick up a phone and start dialing. It's really simple. Connect with them, use the simple script I taught you in this, and then from there you can put them under contract. Virtually, you can do it under DocuSign, or you can have them scan it on their phones and get it back to you, hand it to a title company, reverse engineer your buyer, and you make the spread. It's really that simple. So don't let those buyers get you trapped in a corner. Simplify. When things get rough like this, always go back to the basics. It'll make you a ton of money. I know vacant land's not like super exciting, but I'm going to be honest with you. If you could do 2 or 3 deals like this per month, it would provide you with plenty of revenue to keep things going and allows you to build up to become a complete real estate investor. So when the loan modifications come around, you'll be ready. When the short sales come around, you'll be ready. When the foreclosure boom happens from everybody losing their job, you'll be prepared for this. But guys, we are overlooking the simplest strategy of all, flipping land. I do it. You should do it. Take this video and just duplicate the strategy. Don't overthink it. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and post it below. This is Rick with Flip with Rick, and let's go flip some land.